Hi everyone, Carrie Jackson here, and I wanted to take a couple minutes to talk to you about one of my favorite topics this time of year, the hotly debated resolutions. So at this point, a couple weeks into January, you've either decided you're not setting them or you've set some resolutions. And there's a couple really important things I want to tell you as in either direction, whether you set them or not. One thing I wanted to share is the New Year's resolutions and the term resolutions in that particular phrase, resolutions came from the word resolute, which means you are determined, right? So what's interesting to me about resolutions is a lot of times people aren't thinking about it in those terms, right? When you talk about resolutions, you're like, oh, here's some things I'd like to be different. Here are some of the things I want, versus feeling very resolute and determined and unwavering in what you're going to do. So one of the reasons resolutions fail is because we're not setting them up as goals. So there's a way to set goals and there's a way to not set goals, right? So resolutions often fail because people aren't setting them with the principles of goal setting. So I want to give you two really important litmus tests to put your resolution through to kind of let you know whether or not it's destined to fail. Okay. So the two things I want to give you, number one is, so as you look at the resolution you set, or maybe you're still thinking about setting some goals for yourself, the first litmus test is, does it make you excited? So when you share it with people or when you read it to yourself out loud, is it something that there's a lot of energy there and you're like, oh my gosh, it either makes you feel excited or energized or curious. If it gives you that kind of visceral feeling, you're on the right track. If you read it out loud or you say it, you tell someone else and it's like meh, or it's just like, feels like something you should do, but you don't feel excited, start over, right? Start over. Go back to the drawing board until you get a goal that makes you feel energized and excited. Litmus test number two is it specific? So when you describe it to someone, does it start with terms like, well, I want to, or I'm going to try to? Those are not specific resolutions, right? So you really need, the more specific you are, the more likely you are to make it happen. This is a number one principle of goal setting. So if you really want this resolution to happen, you need to take that resolution and go, how can I make this more specific? If you just keep it at like, I want to spend more time with my kids, or I want to, have a few podium finishes, or I want to run my first 10K, or I want to lose weight. Bye-bye, not specific enough, destined to fail. So make sure your resolutions go through those two litmus tests. Does it make you feel excited? Is it specific? And if the answer is no to either of those, you got to go back to the drawing board and start over. And that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It just means you need to do a little bit of tweaking and use some of those effective goal setting principles in order to make sure you don't get to March and go, what was that resolution I set for myself? I don't even know, because now it's gone, right? So resolutions don't fail. What we fail at is the way that we set them. And there's a way to do it to set yourself up for success. And there's a way to do it that sets yourself up for failure. So don't allow yourself to be destined to fail. Make sure you set yourself up for success with putting it through those two litmus tests.